Let's speak to Annunziata Rees-Mogg on this very issue. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
I was hoping you'd have like a French flag behind you, you know, like waving away with a window open just to give it a little bit of animation. But I'm assuming you decided against this today.
There's one good thing about the French flag. It's red, white and blue, but they're in the wrong order.
That's very, yes, indeed. A wrong pattern altogether.
Wrong pattern.
Indeed. So listen, I mean, obviously it's a state visit. We're a very decent people over here. We know how to put on we do pomp and pageantry like no one else on the planet. We have carriages made of solid gold and horses worth more than the national debt of several small countries. We've certainly know how to welcome someone. Are we welcoming the right man, though?
This is all out of the Keir Starmer playbook. Macron is essentially impotent at home. He leads a minority government. He's facing a huge threat from Le Pen. He needs to grandstand on the international stage. And so does Keir Starmer. It suits both of them very well, but it's not in either country's interests.
What is in terms of the reasons for a state visit, I mean, is it, well, in the past, as far as you can ascertain, is it really just merely a showcase for, oh, look, we all get on rather well, we're from similar kind of democracies, similar sized economies, and this is just a bit of showboating? Is it that, or is there something more substantive to these kind of visits?
I think, generally speaking, all the deals are done well away from the state visit. Yeah. The conversations will have been going on a long time. They'll be between officials. And then it's kind of the wrap party, if you like, that you have the big celebration, the big gala, and it makes everyone look great. We know in diplomatic terms that state visits do have an impact because, leaders have this weird habit of liking to be feted and celebrated and being showered in the pomp and ceremony. We are so good at giving, and part of that is us having the strongest royal family in the world.
Yeah, but also the vanity, the sort of vainglorious nature of contemporary politicians. We were talking a second ago about Norman Tebbit, a big, proper old good, proper conservative character who's, he reached a good old age, but he sadly died. We don't have those kind of figures. We have people like Keir Starmer and Emmanuel Macron on the circuit. And I would imagine when Macron and co are on a state visit, the royal banquet, the gold carriages and all that goes with it is exactly why they're in the job they're in. They're attracted to that. Never done a hard day's work in their life, but, they quite like the bits that go with it.
They like the trappings. Yeah. I think I've been thinking about Norman Tebbit today, as I'm sure many people have. And one of the things that I think really stood out to me about him was how humble he was, how he put aside his own political ambition. He was loyal. He was incredibly dedicated to Margaret, his wife, who obviously was so badly injured in the Brighton bomb. And you can't really imagine any of these current world leaders being like that. You can't imagine them foregoing the free glasses and the tickets to concerts and the, indeed, royal state visits in order to actually do a good job. They put themselves above their countries.
Absolutely right. And there was a very real sense, I was just talking to Dave Wooding, the journalist, on this, a very real sense that you knew what those governments and those people and those loyal figures stood for. You didn't have to look too deeply to know that this is the Conservative Party, this is who they are, this is what they believe, and this is their direction of travel.
There was a vision with values and principles behind it. And now I think we've got people who want power for power's sake and the benefits that come with that. I don't think Keir Starmer has a clue what he wants to do. Yeah. There isn't a single policy he hasn't U-turned on, except for, as one of my colleagues said yesterday, growth. That he has accidentally U-turned on growth by making sure we do not have any. They're killing our economy, they're killing our society, and they are not going to go anywhere near solving immigration. And this one-in, one-out deal that we're told is happening with France, well, 1 + 1 - 1 is exactly where we are now. How does this
100%.
help
You
us?
don't need to, as I said at the beginning, you don't need to be Bertrand Russell to know that, you know, the mathematics really don't. Hang on a sec. So you take 100 people. OK, that's good. So far, we're with you. French people, we're with you. You take 100 people. Oh, I see. You give us 100 people back. Right. That doesn't quite solve the problem. We've got 172,255 people who come across the channel since 2018. It's a jaw-dropping number.
It is, and there will still be tens of thousands coming under this deal. It makes no difference whatsoever. And as you said earlier in the show, we've already paid the French 771
Yes.
million pounds. But the cost to us of immigration is 11 million a day just for hotels. That we could in 2 months pay that again if the French actually stop the boats.
Yeah.
The problem is they've got no intention of doing so, but they're very happy to take our money, and they want a reconvergence. In the words of the Elysée, this Anglo-French summit is about a reconvergence with France and with the EU. That is not what the British people asked for. It's not what we voted for in Brexit. But Starmer seems set on giving away British sovereignty to whoever will take it, whether it's Mauritius in the Chagos Islands, Spain over Gibraltar, the UN over our tax laws, or indeed France over our borders.
Yeah. My colleague Julia Hartley-Brewer said earlier that she conceded that this may be wildly over-optimistic, that is there going to be this incredible cat pulled out of the bag or rabbit out of the hat, whatever, that suddenly the likes of you and I are going to sit there and go, oh my goodness, they've actually done it. Here's Emmanuel with a big announcement, and here's Keir standing beside him going, oh, Emmanuel, aren't you great? And away they go with a big announcement, channel migration solved.
I would, eat my socks or hat or whatever one says. I think it's highly unlikely they will have anything that will actually work. I think there is very likely to be an announcement that's meant to make it sound good, but the reality will not be.
I sense you might be right. I wonder what the likes of Norman Tebbit would, when you go back to that, even your father's era, when he was mighty editor at the Times, how they would be covering this story. I mean, he would have been discombobulating by the day, as would Mr. Tebbit.
I mean, I believe on certain channels there's a particular phrase about people eating cheese and surrendering that one's not allowed to say. But I think it's us that have become the surrender people. We're flying the white flag to every country across the world saying, we're for sale, take what you want. And I think that's incredibly sad for our country. And it shows just what a terrible leader Keir Starmer is.
Indeed. And I wonder whether this sort of evangelical globalism that seems to run through these guys. When I felt the same really about Rishi Sunak to a degree. When I would see him or Keir Starmer, that horrendous guy from Canada, Trudeau, no longer around. It gets worse, this list, by the way. Jacinda Ardern, these kind of people. You'd see them at these meetings and think, oh my goodness, talk about groupthink and this just anti-intellectual global position where they're all puffing and fluffing and preening their whiskers and each other's whiskers because they think they're onto something, but no central philosophy.
I think to the extent there is a philosophy, it's that we should be one globe and that we shouldn't have nation states. We shouldn't have patriotism. We shouldn't have nationalism. We shouldn't have belief in our own cultures, our own histories. We shouldn't have our own identity or our own ability to make our laws and change them. That it suits globalists very well if tax is high everywhere. So that's what the UN has done. It's told everyone to put up taxes. Keir Starmer did not have to sign that, but he did because he wants to undermine our nation as well.
Listen, great to have you on with us. Lovely to speak again. We will speak soon. Annunziata Rees-Mogg with us on the programme.